Hello everyone. In this control engineering and control theory tutorial, we explain how to model and simulate a mass spring damper system in Simulink. Here's the sketch of the system. The system consists of the box with a mass of m that's connected by a spring and the damper to the wall. At the same time, we assume that there is a force F acting on the box. This force F can move the box left or right. In this tutorial, we explain how to create a Simulink block diagram shown over here and how to simulate the system. The simulation results are shown over here. This graph shows the displacement x and the velocity x dot as the function of time, when a constant force F is applied as the input. Let's start with the system modeling and explanation. First, let's explain the system modeling parameters. They are m is the mass of the box, c is the spring constant, and b is the damping constant. By applying Newton's second law, we obtain the equation of motion given over here. Over here, x is the displacement of the box with respect to its equilibrium position, x dot is the velocity of the box, and x double dot is the acceleration of the box. To derive a Simulink block diagram of this system, we first need to transform this equation in the state space form. Let's do that. First, let's divide this equation with 1 over m. As the result, we obtain x double dot plus b over m x dot plus c over m x is equal to 1 over m multiplying the force F. Next, from this equation, we can express x double dot like this: minus c over m multiplying x minus b over m multiplying x dot plus 1 over m multiplying the force F. Next, we introduce the state space variables. We have x1 is equal to x. This is our first state space variable. The second state space variable is x2 is equal to x dot. If we take the first derivative of the first equation, we obtain that x1 dot is equal to x dot. And from the second equation, it follows that x dot is actually equal to x2. And consequently, we obtain our first state equation, that is x1 dot is equal to x2. How about the second state equation? Let's differentiate this equation. We obtain x2 dot is equal to x double dot, and from this equation it follows that x double dot is actually equal to minus c over m multiplying x minus b over m multiplying x dot plus 1 over m multiplying force. Next, we can substitute x and x dot by x1 and x2 and consequently obtain minus c over m multiplying x1, since x1 is equal to x, minus b over m multiplying x2 and plus 1 over m multiplying the force F. Okay, let us finally write the state space model. The first equation is given over here, and we write x1 dot is equal to x2, and the second equation is x2 dot is equal to minus c over m multiplying x1 minus b over m multiplying x2 plus 1 over m multiplying f. And this is our state space model. To develop the Simulink model of this system, we need to write these two equations in the so-called integral form. Let's do that. From the first state equation, it follows that dx1 over dt is equal to x2. From this equation, it follows that dx1 is equal to x2 dt, or if we integrate this equation, we will obtain that x1 is actually an integral of x2 over time. And this is the first equation in the integral form that's necessary for simulating the model in Simulink. Similarly, by following the same procedure, that is by expressing x2 dot as dx2 over dt and doing the same transformation, we will actually obtain that x2 is an integral of everything on the right hand side of this equation. That is an integral of minus c over m multiplying x1 minus b over m multiplying x2 plus 1 over m multiplying the force f. And these three terms are integrated with respect to time dt. And this is the second integral equation necessary to simulate the system. Next, let's start with the MATLAB modeling. The first step is to define the system parameters. They are mass m, damping constant, and the spring constant. Over here, for brevity, I assume a very arbitrary numbers for these constants. However, you can change these numbers as you wish. Next, evaluate this script. By evaluating this script, all the parameters will be in MATLAB memory. This is very important since Simulink need to access these variables and you need to load them in the MATLAB workspace. Don't forget that. The next step is to start Simulink. We start Simulink by typing in the command window Simulink. And here it is. Next, click on a blank model to create a completely blank model. For presentation clarity, I wrote the two integral equations over here. These two integral equations will help us to derive the Simulink model. Okay, let's start with modeling of the force F. In this tutorial, we assume that the force F is a simple constant. Let's create that constant. Double-click over here and search for constant. Then enlarge this block and double-click on the block. And over here, enter the value of the force. I will assume the value of the force equal to 50 newtons. Okay, now we have the force F. We need to multiply the force F by this constant 1 over m. Constants and multiplication by constants can be modeled in Simulink by using the gain block. Double-click over here and search for a gain block. Here it is. Enlarge this block. Align this block, connect it over here, double-click on the block and enter 1 over m. And over here you can see that Simulink is able to recognize the variable from the MATLAB workspace. This is very good. Okay, here's 1 over m. Next, we need to add an add block. This is because we need to sum this term with this term with this term. Let's do that. Double-click over here and search for the add block. Expand the add block and we see a problem over here. The add block has 2 ports, however we need 3 terms. We can fix that by double-clicking over here and by adding plus or minus signs. Since we have 1 addition and 2 minus signs, we need to do the following. We will add 1 plus and then minus minus and click on OK. And over here you can see that now you have 3 ports. Let's connect this port to force multiplying 1 over m. And next we need to create these 2 terms. Okay. First we need to create this term x2, multiplying this constant. Let us model the constant and multiplication first. Double click here and search for gain. Then click here, click on format and rotate this block. Enlarge this block, double click on the block, and over here as a gain, type B over M. Oops, this is an error. Be careful here what you're typing and click OK. Okay, here's B over M. And now if I connect this B over M to this part over here, I will actually have minus B over M. The input to this block will be x2. We will create x2 later on. Let's do the same thing for this term over here. We need C over M. Double click, search for gain, then double click here, enlarge this part over here, move it over here, double click here, and type C over M. Connect the output of this gain to the input of the add element, and now we have minus C over M. The input to this block will actually be x1. Okay. Now, let's create first x2. Over here, we are summing this element and these two elements with the minus sign. The output of the add block will be everything under the integral. Consequently, to create x2, we need to integrate. Double click here and search for integrator. Here it is. Enlarge the integrator, connect this part over here, and as the output, we will have x2. Now, let's connect x2 to this term over here, since we need to have minus b over m multiplying x2. And here it is. Okay, now we have this term over here. Next, we need to create x1. Well, from the first integral equation, we can see that x1 is actually an integral of x2. Double click here and search for an integrator. Here it is. Connect the integrator to this integrator, and the output of this integrator will actually be Rx1. Connect x1 to this block, that is to C over m, and now we have minus C over m multiplying x1. Over here we have minus b over m multiplying x2, and over here we need to add the scope for simulating our results. But before we add the scope, let's add a mux or mux element. Double click here and search for mux. Here it is. Let me do Control C, enlarge the mux element. The mux element has two input ports and has one output. Let's connect the first input port to x2. Let me do it better. And let's connect this port of mux to x1. Why do we use mux? Well, we want to plot on the same graph both x1 and x2. To do that, we will simply use the mux. Double click over here and type scope. And here's our scope element. Connect the scope to mux, and now we are ready to run the simulation. To run the simulation, click here on the simulation, increase the stop time, for example, to 20, and press this button to run the simulation. To see the simulation results, double-click on the scope. And here they are. Perfect. The blue line over here represents the position x of the box, and the yellow line represents the velocity of the box as the function of time. That is, on the x-axis we have time, and on the y-axis we have x and x dot. And that's it. Simple as that. But before I complete this video tutorial, let me show you one trick. First of all, you can select everything over here. Then, after that, you can click over here on Create Subsystem. And voila, magic happens. You have completely encapsulated the model inside of this block. You can access the model by double-clicking over here. Perfect. Next, Let me explain how to set the initial conditions. Namely, in the current simulation, we simulated the response of the system for 0 position and for 0 initial displacement. That is, the initial conditions are 0. I need to correct myself. We simulated the system for 0 x and 0 x dot initial. That is for 0 initial position and 0 initial velocity. However, if you want to make the simulation more realistic, you would like to change the initial conditions. To change the initial conditions, double click over here and let's set the initial condition for the velocity. Double click on the integrator block creating x2 and over here set the initial condition to be equal to -2, for example. Click on OK. Let's set the initial condition for the displacement. Again, click on this integrator creating the displacement and set the initial condition, for example, to -1 and click on OK. Now go back over here and run the simulation once more. And let's see the results. Double click here and here they are. Let's analyze these results. We can see that the position starts from -1 and the velocity starts from -2. And that's how you set the initial condition and the initial velocity. Okay, that's all for today.